DM saying that people didn't want to end the space. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll start a playback. What's going on, man? I'm not hearing a thing, brother. I'm not hearing a thing. They're on like complete lockdown right now. Nope, nothing is leaving the facility. Yannick goes back to the Bucks. You know what? I don't think that's a domino. Um, yeah, he's on a contract and people signed or whatever. So I don't think that's a domino. But we'll see though. I don't think the Bucks trade him unless he says that he wants to be traded. What is Sarge? What is Sarge hesitating about? He's waiting to go and play with Dame Lillard. Like, why? He thinks Dame is that good. Yeah, probably it's a Florida thing. I'm not gonna fault someone for not wanting to pay state taxes. Like, now all of a sudden, California is a bad place to live. You know what I'm saying? Fucking taxes, bro. All of a sudden, California is a bad place to live. This shit's hilarious, man. Hey, Lucy, what's going on? I just have a feeling. Who's requesting? Oh, Lucy. I think the game is going to be done on Andre's channel. Andre grabbed that one today, so We'll be watching that on his channel today.
Hello.
Hey, Lucy, what's going on?
Good, good. I'm trying to watch this game. What game is this?
Oh, I don't know. I
It's
have no
Team
idea.
CP3.
Yeah, I just put NBA TV on. You live in Vegas, right? Or no?
Yes, I do.
Do you ever go to like any of the summer league stuff or no?
No, it's like too expensive.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of don't live around the strip area. I live like around Henderson area.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I always kind of watch the games through the TV.
Yeah.
So I kind of have an idea, but I'm also not in the in that seat. So I'm more like at home all the time.
And you got kids too, right?
Yeah. So and I'm married too. So I have
Okay.
like a
Yeah.
family. Yeah. So it's
Oh,
it's
trust me, I know how that goes, man. Like if you're married and you got smaller children, like the, the hassle that it takes to like find them a sitter or you know what I'm
oh
saying? It becomes
yeah.
like a whole thing, you know? Being
Yeah, it's
single and not having any children, it's a big luxury and people who are married just don't have that luxury and
yeah,
with kids.
I think what makes it well, yeah, it is, and also because all my kids are all under 5, and I have 3. I have 3 kids, and they're all 4, 2, and 1. So they're all they're all in that age, and yeah, it's hard to find sitter. But I really love the sport. So, but yeah, like compared to everybody else, so sometimes I want to participate, but I sometimes don't because I feel like I would be considered a casual fan than like other people. Because technically, I wasn't into the Warriors really, unlike my husband, because he's the one that was into the Warriors because he was from the Bay. So all his life he's been with the Warriors, and because he was from the Bay, so he liked the Warriors, he liked the 49ers, he likes the Giants,
Mhm.
like they're all the Bay teams. And I really started liking the Warriors because of Steph. So I really started following the Warriors after I think they won in 2015. But because of that, I got into basketball because I watched Stephen Curry play and I watched all the teams that he plays against.
Yeah.
So I got into basketball through him. But at that
Okay.
time, I didn't want to admit that I like Steph, so I said my favorite player was Draymond Green
Oh.
because yeah, because I didn't want to go with like the hype that everybody likes Steph, so I went into Draymond
Yeah.
Green. But I'm like, but the more I watched Curry, I was like, oh, I really like the way that he plays, and I like his underdog story. So that's why I kind of had to admit that, oh yeah, he's really really good. And I watched him play too. Like I watched all of his games. I watched all the people that he played against, and like he basically, I said this, that he basically kind of messed the whole system of the teams around, because when he played against teams, he basically broke up their dynamic, and people
Yeah.
started moving around because of him. So so that's why, like, that's why I say I'm considered to be a casual fan, because I haven't been into like the teams. But I do say that before I watch basketball, my dad loves the Lakers. Like he was into like the Lakers, around like Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe, all that
Yeah.
generation. And before that, he liked Michael Jordan. So basically I'm just basically a casual, but I get too shy to say that because people are going to say, oh, you can't be a fan because you're casual, you just started watching because of
There
Curry.
is no way you're a casual. Like once you're in here and you're listening as much as you do and you're tapped in as much as you are no longer a casual. Like a casual, the definition of a casual to me is like if you show up like during the NBA finals and you just start to watch. You know what I'm saying? That's what a casual is. A casual is not a person who is coming to every space, pre and post game, coming into a playback, you know, following stuff on Twitter. Anyone on Twitter is really not a casual like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
If
But
you're
it's
putting
like,
hours into it, you're no longer a casual. There's no way.
yeah, but it's but compared to, like, let's say you and Shadow and Dre, it's like,
Yeah,
I don't have that kind of like knowledge. The only
yeah,
reason why I sometimes base my ideas or my understanding of the game is because of you guys. Like, because I pay
yeah,
attention and I listen in, and um and yeah, there's still things that I'm still trying to understand, um like, even football. Like, there's a whole world of football that I still don't know. I just really started following it because I was watching, like, I would watch my husband watch like the 49er games, and I'm like, what is
yeah.
that? And so that's why I was like, oh, and then so I would pay attention to it. But it's funny because I'm even more of a fan of like basketball now rather
Oh,
than
that's
hit.
funny.
Yeah, like, I tell him, like, if there's like news around the league, and I go, did you know that Draymond Green got like the another contract? And he's like, oh, okay. So I'm on that, like, I'm more, I would say, yeah, I'm more paying attention to it. But yeah, I'm still not as like pro as like you guys or like Lindo or like Bruce. But I do enjoy listening to like the conversation, and I also laugh when I hear like comments about like Stephen Curry, or I hear comments about like Draymond, and I really enjoy like the banter like everybody gets when they talk about LeBron. It's like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah. You watching Wimbledon? Okay, let's switch to Wimbledon. Let's switch to Wimbledon. Y'all want to watch Wimbledon? All right, let's do that. Don't make a difference anyway. Oh, Djokovic is playing. Okay. Um, when I think about how long have you lived in Vegas, Lucy?
So I've been here since 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been here for a while, but also not that long because before that I came from SoCal. So I was actually from SoCal before I came
Oh, you're in
to
SoCal. Okay.
yeah. So I was from San Diego. But
Gotcha,
like,
gotcha, gotcha.
yeah. So that was my area. But then when I moved to Vegas, that's when I heard about I heard about basketball, because that was the time that, there, like, I heard basically there was like a whole setting, like, did you know the Warriors like won after like 40 years of like not winning? And
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, okay. So I started watching them, and then I started watching them all the time. So like I will watch all their games. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And I do admit, like, ever since I watched them, I'm like, they're so exciting that when you watch other teams, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not as exciting as, like, they're so exciting. And I guess because of the fact that Curry's shot is so nice. Like, it's
A
just
hundred
so,
percent.
yeah, it's so crazy. It's like unbelievable that
Mhm.
you're like, oh my goodness, like it's hard to you have to watch it. I can't explain it. It's just you have to watch him play.
No, I feel the
And
same way too.
yeah,
Um,
so
I
but
feel the
yeah,
same way
so
too. So when they started to become good around, I would say around 2012, 2013 or so, when Steph got healthy,
yeah.
um, that's exactly what I saw. Like Steph was just exciting, and I don't know, like basketball just looked different when they were doing as opposed to the stuff that everyone else was doing. And they were doing it and they were just winning. You know what I'm saying? They're just winning at like a crazy
Yeah.
pace. So
And I think that's what makes it awesome. It's like really when the fact they started winning. And it's funny
yeah.
because before that they were just a team that everybody was like, oh, I'm so excited for them. And then when they started winning, everybody hated them. And then when Katie won, they're like, oh yeah, like they should lose
Yeah.
because Katie's there. And then I kind of felt bad too because there was a point where there was a point in time when I'd be like, yeah, I am a Warriors fan, but I kind of don't want to admit it because they were on that like winning stage. Like they were always winning and I don't want to admit it. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm a Draymond fan and not a Steph
Yeah.
Curry, Steph Curry fan. Like yeah, but then I really had to admit that you can't just like not like Steph because he
Yeah.
is that. And I guess now, like, if people would ask me, like, like if people tell me that, oh, Steph's not great, I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're
Yeah.
probably really blind if you're really not paying attention. So yeah, but there are other players that are up and coming, and there are
Yeah.
other players that are just like Curry, and I think everybody's still trying to copy the style of the way that Curry plays and the way that the Warriors play, um, and to like really win. But it's hard. Like I think there's no. I think once Curry leaves, it will be hard to like copy the style that he's actually did because there's just one like him.
Yeah. So hopefully, what I'm hoping for is like I see Denver doing what they're doing, and that Denver thing. We have to see how bad they got or how worse they got based on the stuff that they lost. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Like once a team wins and they break through, it's really really hard to crack them. You know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
type of run that they had, we're gonna have to like do something special to uncrack them. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that's why I was so disappointed with this year. How we just let somebody else just come and just grabbed it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm disappointed in everybody.
Yeah, me too. I agree because I think when the start of the year and everybody, they kind of had like this like losing streak. I said, no, honestly, like our team is so good. And then I heard the news about the craziness about the locker because again, I was always like just following the team and like really listening into the spaces. I heard about the backstories about because sometimes you do forget that these are real people and they have like real lives. So sometimes, they actually have personalities other than basketball. So,
Yeah.
so you get to see, they have attitudes and all of this. I was kind of disappointed because that kind of covered, the team. And I said this too. I think I considered Kerr as like one of like the greatest coach at this time or in the modern NBA because of the fact that he had 5 rings as a player and then now he has 4. But then hearing that, about what he did because he has a certain way of playing and he's very stubborn and he wants to do his own thing, as a coach. I feel like that's a stain to his legacy because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, if you think about it, like who would want to play with a coach that does not let you grow as a player? Like so even if you have a name as like MJ in your team or Stephen Curry's a team, like why would I play with you if I can't become like if I can't excel in your system? Like if you really think about it. So I said like it's sad because now when people hear that story about Kerr, they have like a bad taste in their mouth. But again,
Yeah.
like I feel like we have to like look at it that at the end of the day, um, this basketball players are still people, and they have lives, outside of basketball, and to
Mhm.
us we're like watching them and we're fans, but to them this is like their livelihood. So I can't be like, I want this a certain way, but I can't really like criticize the way that they do the way that they do. So although like I have opinions, it's kind of at the end of the day opinions because again, I'm just like a
Yeah.
fan. So
No, I
I
agree.
love
I agree.
like I do love the fact that I get to hear you guys because back then like when I would watch basketball, again, I'm like, I became like more of a fan than, the people around me. So
Hmm.
sometimes I tell like stories to my husband. He's like, okay. And he's like, I don't care. And I was like, okay. So so,
Yeah,
like,
that sounds like my
oh,
life.
okay. Yeah. So I would just like start looking
Yeah.
into like Twitter's space, and sometimes he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm just talking to like the people in Twitter," and he's like,
You know
"Oh
what's
well,
funny, Lucy? You say that, right? But everyone that comes in here can relate to exactly what you're saying,
yeah,
because the reason why I think this group or this subgroup exists is because, you know, like there's not really anybody in our lives that we can talk to about this thing. You know what I'm saying? Because if
yeah,
we talk about it, we sound like maniacs. You know what I'm saying? So even like my girlfriend, she sees me doing this stuff all the time, and she rolls her eyes like most of the time. So like she doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? So the only time like my daughter or my girlfriend or anything like that cares is like when we're going to an actual basketball game.
yeah, yeah,
And they're ready to like post it on Instagram or something like that. That's the only time they care. But other than that, they could give two craps about what I'm saying on here or what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So they don't care about basketball like that. Like we do. So that's why I say like you're really not a casual. No one that comes in here is a casual. There's no way.
oh, thanks,
You
thanks.
know.
That makes me kind of feel good about myself.
No,
But
I'm
again,
telling you
like,
because people throw around that casual thing, and it's like, okay, somebody can know something more than someone else. Sure, that's fine, but not because you don't know as much as somebody else that makes you a casual. Absolutely not. That's the gatekeeping stuff that I don't like.
yeah, but the funny part is, if like, let's say we have Mike here, he'd be like, "Oh, you're casual because I've been around for 60 years."
Yeah, whatever.
I've been like a Lakers fan for all this, so like, no,
Mike,
I'm not.
my,
I'm not that
Mike
old.
has been watching basketball for probably twice as long as I have, right? And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
promise you, Mike doesn't know more basketball than me. There's no way. Mike can sit here and he can tell you like what happened in 1975, what happened in
yeah,
1980. But ask him about like actual basketball stuff and he won't be able to tell you. He's good with the nostalgia stuff, but not like the actual like X's and O's and kind of what's happening on the court. Just listen to him, like he doesn't really know that part of it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like a few things here and there, but like like anytime I've asked him like anything strategy wise, he goes back to what he's comfortable with. So
yeah,
he can tell you what happened in the 82 finals, but he can't tell you like, X's and O's and all of that stuff. And I think that's where some people get a little bit intimidated. Is that you hear people come up and they talk like the X's and O's and all of that stuff, but honestly, that's just from like watching the thing a lot. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I watch a lot of basketball over the years, and after just watching it so much, you just start to develop like a certain pattern on different things that you see and changes and all of that. And that's all. That's my only perspective that I give. I mean, I've just seen, it just evolve, and I can just talk about the evolution of it. So
yeah. Well, because technically, the beauty of watching, the beauty of like the old game is that there's a lot of things that we can learn from them, but also um you can't really you can't really criticize the modern NBA, because
yeah,
there's a lot of things that you can learn from it too. And technically we are in the modern NBA, you know
yeah,
so it's like, if you try to say that, oh, the modern NBA, you have to forget about it because it's not like how it used to be, like, then that means that we shouldn't say that LeBron is good because he was from the modern NBA, or Curry
yeah,
isn't that good because he's from the modern NBA. Like I did start watching, like the old players. Like, I started watching them while they're really, really good. So
hmm
so I guess that's where I could say that, yeah, I'm really starting to dip into like the basketball, because I want to compare what makes players good. Like I watched Dennis Rodman, and um I watched like Larry Bird, and and of course there's like a whole world of players that I still don't know. Like John Stockton was like the name that I recently heard, so I started watching him too. But it's kind of hard because they're like in black and white. It's just hard to find videos about like these players. But I really wanted to see what makes their game different. Like what makes their game so good compared to like now. And I
Mhm.
think there might be like nuances about what makes their game different, but at the same time, like I really love like the players today, because there's a lot of things that I enjoy watching them. I just might not be like the best at it to
Yeah.
have an opinion on, if that makes sense.
No,
But I
like,
enjoy.
yeah, so eh, honestly, like rule changes is kind of what affected the game. You know what I'm saying? Like they made these rule changes just over the years just to make it more entertaining and more appealing and whatnot. And it just gradually changed the game, changed the game, changed the game, you know? So
Well,
um
on the
that's
bright
pretty
side,
much what
they
it came
said that
down to.
yeah, on the bright side, they said that they're gonna start like giving more technicals to like foul people, like people who like try to foul. They're gonna try to punish that. So I'm like, oh, we'll see if they're gonna do that to the Lakers,
Yeah.
So, because I don't know, like technically, if you have LeBron in your team, you sometimes get a pass, but that's just me. I'm just saying
Hmm.
that don't punish me. don't don't punish me just because I said that if LeBron is in your team, you get a pass. Because I was like watching and I'm like, yeah, LeBron is really, really good, but sometimes I feel
Yeah.
like he gets a pass because of his name. Like I feel like if Steph and LeBron were in the same team, they'd probably be like, oh, Steph is so good, but because he's playing against LeBron, they will
Yeah.
constantly have to put him down because he's
I don't
not.
think two players like that should play with one another. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm glad we got KD and stuff, but you know, like I feel like what makes it compelling is those guys, those types of guys should be going at each other, you know? They're too
Yeah,
good to be playing with each other. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's kind of like a tough sell. Shadow, what's going on, man?
What it do with the business is what's popping.
Just here, brother. I am into the spaces and people were hitting me up left and right and saying like, "Yo, you ended it too quick." I was there for like 2 hours, so I was like, you know what? Let me just start a playback,
Yeah, this guys, you guys are crazy, man. They're just hungry, man. They just want
bro. Like
some information and they're hungry.
some,
But
some.
believe you me, everything is gonna go how it's supposed to go.
Yep.
Hi,
There's
Shadow.
something. Hey, how you doing? What's
You're
going on?
good. I get sometimes like shy or like embarrassed, like when you're talking and I'm like, oh, I have to talk after Shadow because
No, 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 no,
like, oh, it's like so intimidating because
no, no,
you're
no, no. None
there.
of that. None of that, man.
So
None
I
of
I
that.
because I really I have a lot of respect for like what you say, and I kind of say in the chat all the time, like, ignore the crazy people, because if you're doing something right, or if you're doing something and people criticize you, just
No,
remember.
but
So
with all due respect, they're not even on me. They're not even like opposed to anything that I'm saying. They're just trying to be contrarians. Some people just want the attention and they just want to catch the jokes and the keys and the laughs, and that's just how they are. And I expect that. I've been dealing with that my whole life. This is nothing new to me. At the end of the day, I'm just doing it for the people who do appreciate, like yourself, like probably like not to go unscathed. Like I probably get over 100 DMs a day. You know what I mean? Of people saying, "I appreciate what you do. I appreciate you keeping me calm. You make the season fun. I like joining in. It's my entertainment. When there's no spaces. Sorry if I'm always hitting you up. So I take the positivity out of it and I
Yeah.
focus on that. You know what I mean? And on top of it, like through me, like players on the team get to realize that there's actual fans who appreciate them and they get a different perspective rather than just fans they're playing in front of that they don't know how they're thinking. They just see them applauding when they make a three or going crazy when there's a dunk. It gets personal, and sometimes they come into the spaces or the playback, and I can't obviously mention who's in it or whatnot because they're trying to be anonymous, but they appreciate and they know most of the um, people who are in there on a continuous basis. So, and they're super positive about that.
Yeah.
What's going on? I missed most of the spaces. Like the spaces was getting annoying to me, so I just said let me go back to work.
Oh,
Let me get some
nah,
shit
nothing
done.
really happened. It was more like, yeah. So King Julius came in there talking like nonsense. So I'm
No,
trying
I'm
not
not
to
even
put.
talking about that. I'm talking the initial reason, like you went on the spaces. What was the temperament? What was I like? I heard some of the conversation, and then I
Oh,
chimed in because at least 20 people in my DMs are trying to be calm and trying to focus on the moves and do all that. But again,
yeah,
everything is supposed to happen the way it's supposed to happen.
yeah. We'll see though. People are mostly positive. I'm
No,
mostly
100%. Then there's the odd people, even the positive ones. They get in their feelings or they get like a little discouraged or
yeah,
whatnot. But when I think of what's going on with the Warriors, I think about one of the greatest quotes that I've heard because I'm a person of old adages, sayings, quotes, and one of the greatest quotes I ever heard in my life was Henry Ford. And Henry Ford was the inventor of the automobile and started Ford Motors. And one of his greatest quotes he said is, "If I asked the people what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse and carriage." You understand what I'm saying? Well, basically, what that means that if he didn't think out the box and do something different other than what the average individual wanted, there wouldn't be the automobile like there is today. So I just take it what it is. Remember, everybody wanted Avery Bradley. Oh, Avery Bradley, Avery Bradley. Forget GP2. He's not his pops. He's not his pops. And then we come to find out they sign him, and look what happens. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, things are supposed to happen the way they're supposed to happen. And even Steph wanted Avery Bradley and Draymond wanted Avery Bradley. But, the front office said, no, we're going with GP2. And thank the Lord, because GP2 was tremendous that season. And he was an integral part of a championship. So at the end of the day, sometimes you lose or you take one step backwards to go two steps forward. So we'll see what happens. But I'm super confident. I'm super confident in this bunch and this team. And I know what I'm seeing and I know the acquisitions that they're making and I know the direction they're trying to go.
yeah. Ugh, that's tough. You saw that Giannis had, is doing some cleanup surgery on his knee.
Yeah, Lindell told me about it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah. Lindell told me about it. But it's a minor one. Um,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's minor. But he got to make it rest. If he doesn't make it rest, it's going to lead to a major cleanup. So
So Shadow, you seen that Bowl thing?
yep.
Would you get Bowl on the team?
Fam, we had JMG and we had Anthony Lamb and Ty Jerome. Like we're crying. But the Euro kid who's from Greece, who played in the Euro League. He would think he was second team all Eurobasket. Um, he's not the biggest scorer in the world, and in Euro League, if anybody doesn't understand Euro League in comparison to the NBA, Europeans are highly skilled. The bigs are highly skilled. They're multi-dimensional, as you can see with Christoph Porzingis and like other people from Europe, like a Luka Doncic and whatnot, from the guard perspective slash small forward point guard perspective. They're just different type of players. He is really good. He's 7'2", skilled. He's 26 years old. Usually they even come in older than that. I don't know if I'm going a little back, but remember when Anthony Parker came to the Raptors from
Yeah, yeah,
Maccabi Tel Aviv, and he's I believe he's Candace Parker's brother, and he came from Europe, and then there was another individual who came to the Raptors. His name was Garbosa, and those two together, Garbosa ended up going to Houston too for a little bit. Those two together allowed me to understand like European basketball. If you could survive European basketball, like NBA is a joke because it's way more physical in Europe. They go by the FIBA rules. They're a different type of athletic, and they provide value on your team. And Anthony Parker was, I wouldn't say he was a franchise player, but the things he was doing at the time when we didn't have nobody was like franchise player esque. You understand what I'm saying? And I think as a big Bol I like, but if I was to pick, even though my bias is towards African players, if I was to pick, I would pick the guy in EuroLeague who's tried, tested, and proved, who's played it for the national team, played along in an elite talent like Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Eurobasket and different things. He's been with the program his whole life, and he's only 26 years old. And usually they come earlier. Why I said about Garbosa and Parker, I believe they were both pushing 30. They were 30 years old when they came to the NBA, and they were good. Like it wasn't like they were bum players. You know what I'm saying? They were good. So
yeah,
I like him. You know what I mean? His nickname's Big Pop, or there's some people call him Big Poppy. But if the Warriors already worked him out like about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, he's still in America, and they worked out a wing, a 6'9" wing, similar to the wing that was drafted to Washington, Advi, whatever. He's similar type of player, but the 7'2" guy is big. Like you can't teach height, and he played against all the guys, all the biggest, like the Wembys and all the big guys in Europe. Even the EuroLeague MVP, the guy who Sacramento just signed, he's a point guard, but he's much older, but he's really good too.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's been a lot of European players that came and dominated. Like I liked Rudy Fernandez. Remember Rudy Fernandez,
Hmm.
the shooter, and he was Memphis and whatnot. He's like there's a lot of good players in Europe. So I think that if he came to take up one spot, I wouldn't be mad at it. If we got Bobo, I think Bobo hasn't really gotten a fair shake in Denver when he started emerging. Like the roster was too packed for him, so he went over to Orlando. But then when he
Yeah,
went to Orlando, he was killing for a bit, but then he got hurt. So when you're so tall and you grow so fast, like you're susceptible to a lot of injuries. And he's going to help us, but is he going to be available? And availability is a skill to me in the NBA. If your
yeah,
body can endure, it's a skill just like shooting, passing, dribbling, and playing defense. So being available is, you know what I mean? Availability and reliability are one of the best skills in basketball. So if he's not going to be available and ready to play, I don't necessarily think we need that. We had enough DMPs and missing games and injuries and
yeah.
like how many games did Iguodala play in total? But yet he took up 5 million and a roster spot.
I don't know, man. I think with the Bowl thing, like we need aliens on the team, and he's an alien. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
so
100%. But he wouldn't be someone that I get right now. But if we were down to like, because usually the 15 spot they've had a thing where they don't use it up. But if I was to say use a 15 spot, like come on, man. Bobo is a person who can handle the ball. He can dribble it up the court. He can catch a rebound, go on the break. He could jump. He could shoot. He could hit threes. He could block shots at an extraordinary level. Like he's beyond an alien. He's a unicorn mixed with alien, mixed with Martian, mixed with fucking everything, bro. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like he's a kid who I don't know. I can't. I don't have his numbers or anything right in front of me as far as availability, but I'm sure he's hasn't had a season with over 55 games. And with guys like CP, he gonna miss some games. You know what I'm saying? Steph's always gonna miss games. It is what it is.
Yeah. Um, Shadow, let me tell you something, bro. I'm dealing with some stuff with my kids right now, or my daughter more specifically. And let me tell you, like having a daughter, it should be an Olympic sport, brother. Let me tell you, man.
Wow.
Fuck, bro. Having a daughter should be an Olympic sport.
I
Like,
only had boys, man. I don't know.
bam. Oh my God. Like, I'm in a situation now where I'm trying to navigate between my daughter's mom and my daughter, and it's lit. Like, think of it this way: I have to think about what I say very carefully because if I say one wrong thing, it snowballs into a whole other thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah, of course.
my feet, bro. Like, I'm constantly on my feet trying not to piss one of the parties off. You know what I'm saying? And it's the most
Yeah.
exhausting task. It is the most exhausting task, man. So,
What year? What year is your daughter in school?
she's a junior.
She's a junior. Junior coming up this season. It's this
Um,
year, or she's gonna be in her fourth year coming up.
she's gonna be a senior. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah, brother. Brother. What I will tell you is, unfortunately, they people always say the term kids, but that's what it means. Like they never stop. Like even when she's 30 years old, she's still gonna be your kid. When she's 30 years old, she's still gonna be asking you for things. When she's 35, she'll probably be asking you for things. Like it never stops, Circle. So don't think like you're out the woods just because they finish or graduate school or she gets married or anything like that. Like you're still her pops. You're still gonna have to come through
Yeah,
in the clutch, and you're still gonna do what it is. The only thing that I would say is not every argument is worth being proven right. Yeah, you
yeah,
understand what I'm saying? Some things is just you gotta leave alone. They're better without saying. And I have a saying like I'll always pick you up if you fall down, but don't push me to push you down. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, rather than get in an argument with anybody and bicker and whatnot, just don't say nothing, bro.
I
Sometimes it's better said that way. And then when either of them fall on their face, at the end of the day, that's the mother of your child. Even though you're not, even though like you guys may have disagreements or whatnot. At the end of the day, you got to come through in the clutch because she gave that miracle for you birth. So same with your
yeah.
daughter. You know what I mean?
I
She
agree,
gave you
Shadow.
your why and your purpose.
I
Yep.
agree. But speaking as a girl, that's funny. Speaking as a girl, that's funny. But from my experience, is that girls always listen to the tone of your voice. So sometimes, sometimes they'll say that it's not what you said that matters; it's how you said it. So,
A
so
hundred
Very
percent.
true.
Like,
it's kind of
What it do,
funny, but it's
fellas?
so true.
What's up, Shadow?
hey, what's going on, Jermaine?
What's happening? What's up, Bert?
What it do
Now
with
we
the
we're
businesses,
chilling,
Jermaine?
brother.
How you doing, my brother?
Man, trying to hold on, brother. Shit.
That's all we can do, man. We
Yeah.
can't. We can't let trials and tribulations get the best of us. We gotta hold on and let God handle it, man. Let God take the wheel, man.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. That's why I be hitting you up on the Twitter, brother. I like when you
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
that. You wake
Appreciate you,
up,
my
man.
brother. I appreciate you, my brother.
You get up. You give me some spirit, man. Put some spirit back in me, man. You need to be
Amen,
good.
brother. We all need it, man. Just because it
Yep.
sounds like sometimes I have it all together and sometimes everything in my life is perfect. It's not. Nobody's is. You know what I mean? And the more successful you get, the more situations and trials and tribulations come. Like there was a great poet. I think that poet is probably better than Shakespeare. And his name is Christopher Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G. More money, more problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir. No
at the
doubt.
end of the day, it's not even a don't love money, love what it does for the ones that you love. I'm not a proponent of money, but I love what it does for the ones that I love, so I go crazy and go hard every single day to acquire it. It creates financial freedom, and the financial freedom makes me happy. You understand what I'm saying?
Sir.
People are like, oh yeah, money doesn't make you happy. Oh yeah, well either just being sad. So at the end of the day, I'd rather be I'll have a lot of money and maybe bicker here and there and have my good days and my bad days, but the faces on the faces on the people's face that are near and dear to my heart, that's what's important. Like, you know what I mean? My kid, my nephews, my mother, my pops, my bros, my sis, like any even my acquaintances and people on here. So that's why I always give financial literacy advice for free with no intention of getting anything in return, because I like to see people win. And sometimes, like, that's why I say with the negativity, like, I could always tell how someone's life is going by based off of the negativity.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So people are exposing themselves when they come and they troll and they do all those things. Your life ain't that good, bro, because everything is always a reflection of how you're doing.
Yep. And always bitter. It shows through the kind of energy they bring, bro.
Yeah.
That's real.
So
That's
at the
real
end of the
talk.
day, man, at the end of the day, always keep your spirits up. Always have God first. You know what I mean? Family first, God before that. And you'll be all right, man. Everybody will be all right, man. This world isn't promised. And all we could do is do our thing, man. Life's about serendipity, luck, chance, and circumstance. So you got to navigate through it and do what you need to do, man. Like, my life's great, bro. Like, my life's great. You know, I've had like some of the worst things in the world happen to me. But at the end of the day, it sounds weird, but those things needed to happen in order for me to be the person that I am today. You know what I'm saying? Without that, I may have been more selfish. I may have been more arrogant. I may have been more cocky. But right now, I'm humbled, and I'm just helpful and grateful for everything that's in my life, and every individual. 98% of you people on here I've never met in my life, but I'm glad to hear from you. Glad to hear people are doing good. Glad to hear people had fun in the 4th of July, because it's little moments that you got to hang on to. Even when we win a chip, when we lose, when we win a round, when we acquire a player, like, we always got to look at the positive, not the negative. So that's what I'm about, and that's all I try to bring to this fan base, bro. The positivity, because I'm an expert at positivity.
And I know you don't, man, but I want to tell you, don't let people discourage you, man. You keep dropping them nuggets. You know, you can hold out on them, make them thirsty, because that's what it is. And when you don't come around,
Yeah,
they
of course,
they
of
they
course.
looking for the news, you know. But as soon as some shit might not happen, don't go that way that you say, then they
Yeah,
gonna
man.
want to
Yeah,
ride. You know, you can't
it
fucking be
is
stupid, man.
two things. I ain't
Crazy.
God and I ain't Mike Dunleavy, but one thing for sure, two things for certain. God is a person. Listen to me, Jermaine. There's a scripture that says God prepares your table in the presence of your enemies. Every single time I get in an argument with a bozo, maybe not today, maybe not next week, but oh Lord, it's
It
gonna
comes
come.
back around.
It's
It
gonna
comes back
come back
around.
around. It's gonna show that. And I never try to prove people wrong, because that's negative. I always try to prove Shadow right. You know what I mean? I always believe in
Right.
myself, and I always believe in the things that come. Like, I remember specifically because I always see my mom every Sunday. I take her to church. I'm always make sure in her life I take her to get something to eat. I talk to her every day, but specifically, I remember specifically, I was at my mother's house, and it was a Sunday. It was the weekend, actually. And we had the conversation, and some people from Toronto came in here and they were talking about, oh, Shadow, what are you talking about? There's no fighting with players and coaches and da 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 da, and Siakam's a good guy and all this. But guess what happened today, man? What
Yep.
did they
It broke.
release today,
It
man?
broke. It
like
broke.
like people think I just make shit up and just pull shit out the air and do the. My brother Jermaine, with all due respect, the only reason why I have, and it's not even connections, it's not sources. You know what it is? It's a network of family. These people are my brothers in real life. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they
Yeah.
can never get mad at when I drop a dime or drop it. It's like it's your bro. If a stranger comes and starts talking about family business, that's one thing. But
That's
if your own
different. Yeah.
blood brother, you're not gonna fight your brother. Bro, I have friends that I've known for 30 years. I tell them I automatically make you my brother, because if you were my friends, I would have knocked you out a long time ago.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But you can never
Right.
do that to your brother. You can never shoot your brother. Like, that's just like not it. So at the end of the day, I just take it for what it is. And these relationships that I forged, they're not like yesterday. These are like 15 years,
Right.
12 years. And some of these players and people are 26, 27. Like, literally, I used to pick them up, go to the store. help them, get them tutors, do things, be in their life. Because at the end of the day, I have kids who are around that age at that particular juncture. So at the end of the day, it's like, why am I going to sit there and argue with someone? I'm just saying, all right, cool, you got it. But I'll always have my day, and today was my day. And they're sitting in the. You know what today is? February 2nd, Groundhog Day. Because all the
Yeah.
trolls, all the
They
bozos
hide.
ran
They
into their
hide.
hole, man.
Yeah,
It's
they hide.
Groundhog Day, man. It's Groundhog Day, man.
Oh
Where the
shit.
fuck they at, man? Where the hell
Yeah.
they at? It says Pascal Siakam and Fred Van Fleet were not messing with the younger guys, and there was friction.
Friction. Yep.
Friction, man. You know what friction is? Do you know that's your teammate, man? Do you know what
Yeah.
kind of trials and tribulations and ordeals you got to go through for a media person? And mind you, that person, Michael Grange, is the lead writer the lead writer, journalist, person who covers the Toronto Raptors. Bro, I
Raptors.
live
Yeah.
in the city, bro. I know half the front office. I know people who've been around it. And remember, the Raptors are aligned with Basketball Canada. So I've helped Basketball Canada because there was a AAU and Team Canada like disparity for a long time with Canada basketball. Like if you look in the '90s, and it
I
wasn't
remember
until
that.
like it
I
was only
remember that
white people.
shit.
Brother,
Yep.
I have nothing against white people, but there's only white players that were on the team. The brothers who were like going to Europe, and a couple of them who made it to the NBA or like got tryouts or anything like that would never play on the team, and it was friction. So they had a problem because once AAU started to come crazy, like in '08, '09, 2010, because of the mixtape and everything like that, people were like, bro, I don't Team Canada don't mean nothing. Let me go play AAU, get my looks up, and let me get to the league. Because
Yep.
once Tristan Thompson got there, it became possible. Before Tristan Thompson, the last person was 1996, Steve Nash, and he's not even from Toronto. He's from Victoria, British Columbia, which is all the way on the other side. That's like 3,000, 4,000 miles away from Toronto. You understand? We deal in
Wow.
kilometers, but to give you perspective, because you're American, that's like
Right.
4,000 miles. So and it's on the island. It's off the coast of Canada. So there was no like really no one to look at. So once Tristan did it, Corey did it, and then it started going again. Like Anthony Bennett, he was the first pick. He dropped out the league because he wasn't focused. And then Wiggins, and then there was an influx. Like right now, Canada's the third. No, I think it's second this year. But outside of the U.S., we have the most. We as a country we have the most NBA talent in the National Basketball Association. So I'm
Yeah.
an integral part of helping Basketball Canada because Steve Nash was in charge of it, and RJ Barrett's father, Rowan Barrett, who used to play at St. John's University. He was an integral part of it. Those guys are actually best friends. RJ Barrett's father and Steve Nash. So there
Right.
was a disconnect. So I helped bridge that connect. So I'm tapped in from that. I got to meet different people in the Raptors organization who were starting at the bottom and now are like presidents of certain divisions, vice presidents of certain divisions, running the whole entire Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. That includes like the MLS soccer team, that includes the Toronto Maple Leafs, that includes the Raptors, then all the way up to the CEO, chairman. Like I'm tapped in, brother. And these are
Right.
relationships 20 years, 15 years, 18 years. So these are not like hurry come up the other day. Like I'm talking like 60-year-old white man and see me down the street who are way older than me will see me and say, "What's up, Shadow? How you doing?" And we'll be in the quote unquote upper echelon part of Toronto. Come sit down, let's have lunch, let's go do this. And those are the relationships that I build. I'm not gonna go to the club with them and pop bottles, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna have conversations. I'm gonna leverage our relationships, and I'm gonna bring different things to the table. And that's what all it is about. Your network is your net
Network.
worth, and my
Yep.
network is fucking impeccable. Like I'll never show off about money. I'll never show off about like. Actually, I can show off from a fashion perspective. Like my closet is like next level. My shoes, my closet, my designer. My background is in fashion, so I'm super hip to the fashion. So I'll toot my horn about that, and I'll toot my horn about my network. It is impeccable. The people that people would literally think that I knew and know me and have asked me for things because I'm a person. How I build my relationships, I never ask for nothing. I only give or offer. So if someone comes to the city, I'll do for them. And after you do it for like 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 15 years. When I go and ask for a little favor, yo, what's popping? What's going on with the organization, brother? I'm going to tell you, man. Like, I already know it's you. So I come,
Yep.
I bring it to the spaces people don't understand, and it took me 15 years to get to the level for me to be able to do that.
Do
But yeah,
that.
now
Yeah.
drop a gem, and it doesn't happen right away. And then you know what
Some
happens?
stuff, some stuff got to materialize though, Shaq.
No, no, no.
It
But
can't.
but
No,
I
I'm
told
saying,
you the scripture.
I'm saying
God
that be.
God
Go ahead.
makes your table in the presence of your enemies.
Of your
So maybe
enemies,
month
yeah.
1, month 2, but month 3, a report will come out and
It
it'll
comes
say
to the
Mike,
rim.
or 3 weeks later, Mike Dunleavy made his first call to the Toronto Raptors for Jordan Poole and for OG Anunoby. But a week before, I'm getting all these trolls. What happened to OG? What happened to OG? Hey, Shadow, what happened to OG? I said, listen, you fucking nerd. But then they run in their rabbit hole. So again, to not to make a long story shorter and to indulge too much into this, today's Groundhog Day, man. Summer's around the corner. I thought it was summer, but according to everybody else, we're in February. So it's February 2nd. It's Groundhog Day. The bozos ran into the hole, and the groundhog saw a shadow, and summer's coming. Even though yesterday was the hottest day on earth in history, today I'm in Toronto. The shit's probably like a buck 05 right now. So so at the
Oh
end of the
yeah.
day, we deal in Celsius, but if to translate it, it's like 105. It's hot, but it's probably the hottest February 2nd of Earth because today is Groundhog Day. The bozos ran into their hole. So again, my brother, always good to talk to you. Always good to see you, and it is what it is, man. Shadow B is always here, man. It's Shadow
I,
BOX to the ER, and it's always what it do with the business is, man. Because I'm always in the business of making business. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, my brother. I'm just floating, doing
yeah.
what I do, man.
Yeah, man. But don't let them. It's a lot of people want to hear it, bro. I get it anyway because we in the chat, but I'm just telling you, just
Brother, even
that
even when the bozos,
the few haters,
no, and
they can't ruin it for everybody because there's people
no,
that
no, no, no,
want to hear it.
and that's what I try to do. And I try to remember. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I say, you know what, fuck it. I ain't saying shit to nobody. And you'll see me a week, 2 weeks, no spaces. I'm not in no spaces. You know what I mean? And then everyone's
Right.
hit me, Shadow, what's up? What's the thing? And I'll drop him in the group chat, and everyone's like, whoa. And I'll drop it in the group chat. And now you're hearing all the moves that's happening now. If you ask anybody in the group chat, every single move that's happening now,
Yep.
I already knew. Because at the end of the
Yep.
day, I had relationships and I am involved with people who are the creme de la creme. And mind you, when I forged these relationships, let me give you a perfect example. Rich Paul is a great friend of mine, really good friend. And he can't even say a friend. That's my brother, bro. When it comes to Toronto, he'll say that in Toronto, I don't have a brother, just Shadow. You understand him? He'll say that out of his mouth. But when I knew him, he wasn't even an agent. He was on aspirations. He was mentoring to be with an agent. He was studying under Leon Rose. He was around like Corey, who we just got, Tristan Thompson, who got a little situation with the Lakers, and quote unquote everybody knows him from the Kardashians and blah 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 blah. When I knew
Right.
Rich was just quote unquote as Phil Jackson would say in his book, a member of LeBron's posse. But when I knew him, he was a dude from the trenches who's one of the smartest dudes I know, who was wise beyond his years, who was ambitious, and didn't ask for no handouts. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't ask for
Got
no handouts, and he worked and he showed his
worked his
worth,
ass off.
and he
Yeah,
worked his
worked
ass
his
off.
ass
And
off.
then,
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the reason why Rich got certain things, but let's just say that there was a situation, and it came down to people wanting to sign with an agent. And all the agents were saying, "How could you sign with a person who's never had an athlete before?" And
Yeah,
the
that's when they
parents were
was
coming to me
that
and asking for my advice.
right.
Come on,
That's
man.
when they
A
was
like,
hate
see you like, bro.
that's when they was
Jermaine, I
hating
don't
on
even know
the
you from
black
a hole in the wall, man. And I
right.
already don't know you from a hole in the wall, but I could tell your ancestors are from my tribe because I can feel the spirit of you. And
No
I
doubt.
understand that we know and we've seen certain things. A farmer knows a farmer, bro. I know you
Yes,
didn't grow up
sir.
in those suburbs, man. I know you grew
Nope.
up in the trenches with the leeches and the rats and the rodents. I know
Yes,
that
sir.
because and it has nothing to do with your thing. That we speak a different kind of coded language that nobody would understand. When you're OGs and you're offering game and you have a different perspective on life, you speak in a different type of code, and you've been speaking that code. It's almost like Morse code. You and I, every time we talk, and this is the first time I've even bringing this or addressing this to you. So with that being said, my brother, some of these relationships I had for a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. Even though like people don't understand what a decade is. Every 10 years, so the 2000s is one decade, 2010s is another decade, 2020s is another decade. Some of these relationships I've had for 3 decades, brother. 20 plus years. So when I bring a gem into the spaces and it doesn't work out or pan out, I ain't Mike Dunleavy, bro. I can't do it. And I said, I run my jokes and I do
Right.
things. I said, Mike Dunleavy's a little bit on the short bus. I'm not sure if he can close. Well, ta-da, like a magician would say, he ain't closing. But he's bringing the situation and he's trying. And eventually, if you try enough times, you land one.
He gonna break through. Yeah, he'll break through.
He'll break through. And that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying, man. And then the people who are saying, "Oh, Shadow, you said this." But the funny thing is, on the Thursday of the draft, when I was dropping gems and Urkel was in spaces and everybody's in my DMs and I'm getting them and I'm hitting them. You know what I mean? And I'm transparent. I wouldn't think my homegirl that I've known since high school works for the National Basketball Association in the head office. So literally, and I'm saying this in playback because the y'all is my family. Literally, the
No doubt.
team will call the NBA front office. It goes to her. She gives the pick to her assistant, and then it goes to the stage. Shams and Woj are asking GMs.
Got
My
you.
shorty's looking at the paper and telling me,
Looking at the card right there.
I'm 10 minutes ahead of Shams, man. This is documented. But
Oh
no
yeah.
Bozo said nothing. I'm talking trades are happening, right? I'm 15 minutes before Shams and Woj. Trades.
Nah,
Nobody's going to talk about that.
you was 9 hours,
No one's going to talk about
brother.
that. So
You was
that's
9 hours in front of that shit. That shit
okay.
with Van Vliet to
Yeah,
the right.
and
You was
CP3
banging
and
CP3. You
come
was
on.
you was 956. My
No,
time on that shit,
but
bro.
what I'm saying is these are decades of relationships. So I'm bringing it to the spaces only from the standpoint of I don't like Laker fans, Nuggets
me,
fans,
me either.
Raptor fans coming at the people that are supposed to be my family, that we're all supposed to be in one conglomerate together. It's just like when you're at church. If someone's from the or from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and one person's in Toronto and another person's in Utah, they're all part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I don't mean to get biblical. I don't mean to talk blasphemy and compare religion to sports, but from a base perspective as an organization coming together and sharing in the common cause, the principles are all the same. So I know if this person's in Louisiana, Urkel's in Arizona, this person's there, we're all Warriors fans. I'm supposed to take care of everybody. So I'm giving them the gems so they could feel better about themselves. Listen,
Right.
man. When Wiggins wasn't coming back, Colin Coward went on radio and
Went
television.
on
And Colin
television
Coward
and
said, I have a source that said
source. Yep.
Andrew Wiggins is done for the season. There's a
Did
clip
it?
of there's a clip of Jim Park, and Jim's my dog. But he kept talking, Wiggins is not coming back. Wiggins is coming back. There's a clip of me screaming at the top of my lungs. And I said, I fucking guarantee he's coming back.
Yep. That was in the spaces. I
Come
remember
on,
that.
man.
Yeah.
And literally I was the only person. Not Marcus Spears, not the Pod Boys, not Anthony Slater, not Dalton Johnson, not Woj, not Shams. Nobody knew. And I gave them everybody the gem because everybody was nervy. So I did that out of the kindness of my heart. I don't gotta drop this. I don't got Shadow, you doing this for clout. For people I don't know with eggheads, man.
Right.
Do you know who I am in my city, bro? Do you know how many summers I ran in this bitch, bro? Come on, man. And with all
Already.
due respect. Anyways, not to go off on a tangent and make this about us. I appreciate you, brother. You and I have the same story, and I'm always praying for you. I hope you're praying for me because
Likewise,
we
brother.
all need
Yeah.
it. When there's a scripture that says when two or more come together in prayer, it is guaranteed. So I'm
Yes,
guaranteed
sir.
we're gonna beat this situation and we're gonna do what we need to do, my brother.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you, Jermaine.
I appreciate you too, brother. Yep. His birthday came
I
on the
know, I know, it
third,
was a rough
bro.
one, man. It was a rough one. That's why I said a prayer for you, my brother. I
Yes,
said, and
sir.
and and, and I already know it's killer to see your child grieving, so it kills you, and then they um your grandson shared the same genes as you. You even though you helped make your child, and then your child made him. So I already know it pains and it hurts. And you know what I'll tell you, my brother, no one's gonna be able to understand. It's bullshit when they say time heals all wounds. But
Yeah.
one thing for sure, two things for certain: in life, you learn lessons. When you add the Bible, it's a blessing. It's a
Yes,
blessing.
sir.
You'll never be the same, but you'll learn how to cope. And anything you need, anything you want, anything that you don't understand, or when it gets dark for you, just holler at me, my brother. I got you.
Will do, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Ski. Irk, what's popping?
Now, Joe, I'm just kind of looking at the timeline, kind of see what's going on, but it's kind of like a slow day in the NBA today, man. I mean, all I'm seeing is just like,
Brother, with all due respect, it's a slow
yeah,
day every day. But because it's our fan base, like, so
yeah.
somebody tell me what's going on in Pacerland. Somebody tell me what's going on in the Hawks world. Somebody tell me what's going on in the Pelicans world. It's all dead. But because
Right.
it's us and because it's you and I and quote unquote, these guys are the face. I didn't ask to be no face, man. I'm from Jane Finch, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, by way of Ghana, West Africa. Nobody asked for this position. Nobody asked to do this. I just give gems and I ask that people just stay positive. That's it, bro. That's all I ask. If I'm gonna give you gems, stay a little positive. That's it. That's all I ask, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like teams are waiting for this Dame thing to like, you know, to kind of materialize itself. Um,
Yeah. So the Spurs are trying to get in the mix just to be in the trade so they can move some things around.
yeah.
They're not in exactly the tanking mode. They want to put Wemby in the best position possible so he could shine. So he's gonna need comparable pieces. Um the Ben Simmons is looking like he's on the move. Rich doesn't handle him no more, but obviously I hear a 1-2 and a 2-1 and a 1-2. So he's looking to be on the move, and hopefully he got the requisite help that he needed over the last 2 years, and his mind is right and he's ready to hoop. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we'll
Let me
see,
let
man.
me let me let me ask you something, Shadow. If do you think that is Clay holding us up, or do they have a threshold
No,
for
not
a
Clay's not holding
contract?
us up. Clay's contract is holding us up. And what I
I
mean by that is it's very difficult to, and I'm not saying Clay's going to get traded, but what I am going to say is it Clay going to sign for 3 years 75 instead of 3 years 160, which gives us an extra 50, 60 million in maneuver to do what we need to do? Is it going to give us another 10 million or 8 million per year, and you pair that up with Kaminga's 7 million, you pair that with Moody's thing, then now you get a player for 18, 19, 20 million? Like, that's what I mean by it's holding us up. Do we sign more minimum guys for 3 million to 5 million, and then we sign three of them, and then now we can't go get a baby shark or a big fish?
Right.
So
Mhm.
I'm sure Clay's not doing it on purpose, but Clay's got to make the best decision for him. But in my personal opinion, when people do you a solid, you got to do them back a solid. And I'm
Oh,
not a karma person because I don't believe in. Everyone's always saying, "Oh, it's karma, bad karma." I don't think there's bad karma. I believe it's energy. Whatever you put out, you're gonna get. I believe that the Golden State Warriors played Clay Thompson 90 million when he couldn't dribble a Wilson
preach,
basketball.
preach,
So
brother.
I think he got to turn around and do them a solid. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
I've
and
been
and we're
I,
talking
I've been
about
screaming that same sentiment, bro.
and we're and
Hey,
when we're talking about all this big money, like you have to remember the agent takes 4%. There's state tax, there's federal tax. Then they have to. There's an escrow. So a portion of an NBA player's salary goes. So if someone makes 40 million, there might be a 10% escrow. So that 4 million goes to the NBA, meaning that it rolls over for when you retire and your pension and your medical and all those things. So later on in life, you're not crying. Like
Right.
Allen Iverson ran through a lot of money. He ran through a lot of stuff. But when he signed his Reebok deal, when he turns a certain age, 55, and
55.
everybody was when Allen Iverson signed that deal, you couldn't even think about him being 55 because he's 20 something years old. How am I going to think about? But now when he gets him and his wife get a role, even though he's not with his wife, they signed it so they're protected later on. So when in their elder years, there's a 20 M's, 30 M's coming to them, and that's the same
Right.
thing that the NBA does because. As far as athletes are concerned, there's no financial literacy. There's no financial literacy in school, and there's no investing strategy or teaching you how to invest in real estate or teaching you how to invest and make money. Everybody will always say save. The two worst things in life you could do, and I'm not a proponent of working a job, but what I am is if you have a specialized knowledge and you have a trade or a skill and you work in a company, you could you could go to the human resources and ask them how much the consultants get charged, and then you could remove yourself from that post and set up an LLC and be a consultant and make 4 or 5 times the money. So these are secrets that other people don't want to tell you, but I'll tell you, I'm transparent. I'm always trying to help another black man or another younger individual win. OG, I told everybody, OG has nothing to do with being old or the old term in the 70s, original gangster. It's none about. It's offering game. If I know it, I'm going to show it. I'm going to pass on the information. So with that being said, I tell NBA athletes, they ask me all the time, Shadow, you got something I can invest in? No, but I could teach you how to do this, and I could teach you how to do that. And there's an NBA player I'm not even going to mention. He's not even in the league no more, but he only got to make a certain amount of money. I would say I can't. I'm telling you the number that's close. I can't give the exact number because our fan base is so smart. They're gonna Google it, and then they're gonna say, "Oh, this guy made 26 million. It's him." So I'm not even
Right.
gonna do that. So let's just use the number as 11 million. He made 11
Right.
million. So you got to pay state tax. You got to pay your agent. You got to do all this, and you got to live. So if your lifestyle is you're every month you're paying 30,000, 360,000 a year. Well, that doesn't change when you're 40, fam, because it's still the
Right.
same house. You still got to pay the bills. You still got to pay cars. You still got to pay an assistant. You still got to pay staff. You still got to pay people. So let's just say that person was down to his last like 2 million after making high eight. No, I wouldn't say high, mid eight figures. He made mid eight figures, but a lot of it went to tax. So say half of it went to tax. Then another, he just fucked it off. First 3 years in the league,
Right.
he just spent it on. So he's probably down to his last 2 million. This is a true story, by the way. And maybe like one day, when everything comes and we start celebrating, maybe I'll start bringing some people and they'll speak on my behalf, like the gems that I gave him. And he wanted to buy a home, and there's nothing wrong with buying home, but it's not like when we were kids and it was our parents and they were buying a home for 30,000, and now
thirty
that same
thousand
house,
dollars. Yeah,
and now
that
yeah,
shit
now
over with.
homes are
Yeah.
like, if you're living in a big metropolis, a normal regular degular house with a white picket fence, 2,600 square feet is like 600,000 plus. If you live in a big city, if you live in a
Right.
decent city, it's like 400,000 plus. So the room for that home to grow, that home that's 400,000 in 2023, what are the chances of that home reaching a million after it's already amortized for the past 15 years? It's very slim to none.
Very
You
slim.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that 30,000 home in 20 years, it's comparable that it would be 700,000 because that was 30, 40 years ago. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So in my personal estimation is, in real estate, the money's not in the sell, it's in the buy, meaning that there's homes that are $1 million, say in Texas, huge homes, but I could buy the land for 100,000 and I could build a home for $300 a square foot. And that, because I own the land, I can go to the construction company and get a $400,000 home. Now that home cost me 500,000, but every home on that street is $1 million. So now buying it, I made $500,000 in sale. So I did something of that effect. But I told him to buy a commercial unit, brother. With all due respect, man,
Flip it.
there's a lot of times Shadow hit shit out the park, but I hit shit out the park, and I've never asked him for nothing. But believe you me, when I ask him, he got to fork over something. So, anyways, he probably bought a property and it was land. They built on the land, a commercial unit. They had partial of the land, and then they severed the land. For anybody who doesn't know, when you put sewages, when you go to the city with the plans, your land value automatically increases. So he built his part. He rented it all out, and he's been out the league for a couple years. So in total, he was down to his last 2 million. It told him to invest like the 300,000. He was really scared. He invested it. He got construction loans. He paid it. He paid it off. Well, a Bank of America, came into them and gave him a 20-year lease. With that money of the 20-year lease, right?
Right.
He got leverage, and then a hedge fund came because you have passive income. And I know I'm talking, but you guys got to bear with me. There's a difference between passive income and residual income. Residual income is exchanging time for money, meaning I have a company that is cleaning. I have a barber on a Tuesday and Fridays. I'm also run a medical clinic, like a physio clinic, and then I also have my own mechanic shop. I get to exchange time for money. Now, a passive income is when you have a crypto portfolio, you have real estate portfolio, and you don't got to be there in order for it to make money. You're making money while you sleep. That's passive income. So that the property that I told him to do had a passive income of $196,000 a month. So what that is the a hedge fund came. They want to have things that pay them. So
Right.
in anything that doesn't pay you is a liability. Even your house. If your house don't pay you, it's a liability. Now, I tell people all the time, real estate is key. Real estate is key, but we have to do it different. So what I told him to do now is, well, when you guys close your mic, we're
Yeah,
getting
somebody
feedback.
got an echo. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I told him to do, he did it. A hedge fund came and bought him out in February, and they offered him $11 million for that property.
Wow.
But now, what I told him to do is tell them you'll sell it to them for nine million, but you want a 10% residual income on what they're making. So he sold it for 9. The property still brings in 196,000, but now he makes 20,000 not doing nothing.
Sitting on his ass.
And that's for his kids, and he could compound that money. So every month he puts it in the bank and he compounds it, and he puts it with it's a trading platform. So everybody heard of the country Singapore? What Singapore does is they have a
Yeah.
lot of traders. So there's a DBS bank and a bunch of different banks, and they'll be Berkshire, and they'll trade, and they'll do their own forex and give out loans, and then they'll give their customers 16-17% because they're riskier assets. So what his thing is doing is rolling over into it. So now that was in February. So we're talking March, April, May, June, July, right? So that's 5 months. That's
5 months. Yeah.
$100,000 he's made in a half year. So he's gonna make $250,000 passively every single year. So now it's cute. He could have got the 11 million, but now it's giving him money passively, and in that extra 2 million is gonna take 8 years, but his family will get paid for 80 years. His trust company that it will get paid for 1,000 years. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I always have a saying: I don't hustle for my first name. I hustle for my last. Like, you may not like Trump or what he does, but his father made that last name mean something. The
Right.
Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Sean P. Diddy Combs, any one of his kids who have that Combs last name, they're good forever, because it's about hustling for your last name, not your first name. So, like I said, with your grandson, it's all about that last name, and with you and creating the situation for your people. That's what it's about, and it's never too late, man. Like I said, little gems, and that's just one little story. And again, I'm not the richest guy in the world, but um I do my thing. You know what I mean? Let's
Already.
just say I do my thing.
Yes, sir.
But it is what it is. I'll be back, guys. I gotta go swag out. I just came to go quickly get something and talk a little knowledge, wisdom, and respect in the playback. But I'll be back. I'll be listening. But I gotta go do a 1-2. Take care, guys.
All right. All right, Saba. What's up, Bert?
What's going on, man?
You got it, brother. Shit. You got it.
Am I still
Nothing
echoing?
doing. Huh?
I take it that I'm good on the echo now. All right, good.
Yeah, yeah, you good. Yeah, you good. Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, I'm about to sign off and just get some stuff done, man. I'm gonna enjoy my day off.
Okay.
But it was nice
Cool.
talking to y'all, man. Always come in here and spit
Likewise,
some knowledge.
likewise, brother.
All right, brother. Appreciate y'all for tapping in.
All right.
Bye, Eric.
All right. Take care, Kai.